Welcome back to the Indigo Room series, Who Are the Indigo People, Part 3 by Laurie A. Johnson on sunfell.com. If you're new to the channel and you're just finding the series, welcome. And if you haven't had the opportunity to listen to the introduction of this series and part 1 and 2, please click the link that is popping up above the top of this screen here and start at the beginning. It would be much better for you if you started at the first video than starting at in the middle. So we appreciate having you here. Just go back and then you can listen to it in all succession, and do subscribe to the playlist as well. Okay, so let's get started on part 3. Who are the Indigo People? Part 3. Indigos have very rich and sensualist tastes in music, food, scent, color, and other sensual expressions. Adult indigos are often connoisseurs of music, food, perfumes, art, clothing, or other sense-dense items. They are the ones who will be able to pick out many of the ingredients in perfumes if they have studied perfumery. They also like to dissect the various flavors in foods and wines. The same also applies to music. Musical preferences tend toward high calorie and complex sorts, ambient, classical, dense, world fusion, jazz, and other iconoclastic forms. Indigos can become a real authority in their chosen fetishes, be it food, color, music, or scents. They also have a love of tactile expression, too, loving silks, velvets, and other rich tactile expressions. They seek a certain spiritual presence in the art objects they own and also prefer it in their everyday lives, too. They may seem nearly eccentric to an outsider, but it is essential for the comfort of the indigo soul. Indigos are often solitary souls, preferring their own company to that of a large group. We prefer the company of peers and would rather be alone than in a group of sleepers, people who are not spiritually awakened. We also need time to ourselves to recharge our spiritual batteries, even if we have highly social jobs. If we close the door of our offices or withdraw into the bedroom, it is because the noise of the world around us is almost overwhelming. We tend to be very sensitive to noise, heat, humidity, crowds, and strong odors. It's just the way we are. Indigos are also unusually needy of deep sleep and can be very difficult if awakened abruptly or unnecessarily. It is painful to us. If you must awaken us before we're ready, do so gently. Sexual intimacy is a take or leave it thing for us. We just don't get all the obsession with sex. Perhaps it is because we prefer to commune at a soul to soul level, and casual sex precludes that. We are not dysfunctional. We don't go chasing after it either. And if we don't get it, we don't miss it. And we're not wound up in our gender identity either. We are souls first, people of gender second. Female indigos are often accused of thinking like guys, and vice versa for the men. Actually, the capabilities of both genders are available for the adult indigos to use if they are comfortable with themselves. Indigos are very attracted to the supernatural, metaphysical, and cutting edges of both scientific and spiritual understanding. Now, let me just get this in here too. This is Indigo Empress Coach Sydney Chase speaking. This is not, indigos are not a monolith, okay? These are her observations. And just if you, doesn't mean that you have to be all of these things or if you are experiencing some of these things and you're not all of them, you're not an indigo. That's not the case. This is just her experiences and what I found to be most truthful to me when I was searching about being an indigo in 2007. And this information is still available for those of you that wish to check it out at sumfell.com. You don't like listening to my voice? Go over there and read it yourself. Okay, back to the reading. Often they seek out spiritual paths that are far from the mainstream, often fringe or just emerging. If they do practice a mainstream faith, they do so with the full awareness of its shortcomings and seek to utilize the benefits of their faith for peace and spiritual comfort. Many, myself included, become eclectic spiritual practitioners and understanding the unity and underlies that many faiths of humanity. They happily synthesize the tenets and wisdom of these faiths into a harmonious whole, which greatly enhances both their lives and the lives of those around them. They do not evangelize. However, they understand that spiritual understanding and insight is an individual path. They eschew cults and seek to teach independence and self understanding rather than dependence and self ignorance. Elder indigos who have been students of metaphysics, religion, and the occult are very aware that many occult techniques, rituals, and beliefs no longer apply as the world progresses out of the Piscean influence into the Aquarian one. This can lead to conflict and isolation if they attempt to share this insight with established traditional practitioners. Solitary practitioners will create new techniques more in harmony with current energies. Elder indigos use intuition combined with knowledge of various metaphysical disciplines to create new systems of operations. And if you follow the Indigo Room on YouTube or here on any of my other channels, follow the Indigo Room, you know that we have been receiving new systems and new technologies and new techniques, and we're no longer using some of the older information. Some of those laws no longer apply. So you should check it out, especially with regards to picking up your Merkaba vehicle. If you haven't done so yet, I've written a book about that, and you can check again the links in the comments section and purchase your book on activating your Merkaba vehicle and dissolving the false selves and getting rid of negative energy for good. Most of it, the majority of it. Okay, back to the reading. Elder indigos, many of the elder indigos are either unmarried, divorced without remarriage, childless, child free, or both. The strong sense of mission that we were born with sometimes seems to preclude normal lifestyles, relationships, and goals. We did not get the life script that everyone else seems to want to follow blindly and often eschew the American dream of the house with the white picket fence, spouse, 2.5 kids, minivan, SUV, and the rest of it. If we do marry, it is to someone who understands us implicitly and realizes that our many quirks and idiosyncrasies are rare and special gifts and we're not nuts. Wondering if we're nuts is a major problem with unrealized indigos. Sadly, many of the elder generation of indigos have problems with understanding and utilizing their gifts or coping with their sensitivities. Self deleting was a common out for some in their youth and drug and alcohol abuse plagued others. Loneliness and isolation also take their toll, although this is lessening with mainstreaming of the internet and greater ease of finding peers. Depression often results both in, but is treatable. If you're an elder indigo and had survived this far, congratulations. The worst is behind you. Put your life in order, accept and explore your gifts. Ask your guidance to help you get on track. And remember your real reason for being here. All indigos wrestle with depression. Most of this is caused by lack of proper light. Seasonal affective disorder can be devastating as a major depression, but can be easily and fairly cheaply treated and without drugs. Using dawn stimulators and banks of full spectrum lighting will shoo away the black moods and lethargy that accompanies this disorder. Older indigos may also have problems with deeply buried rage, a leftover from their sometimes traumatic childhood. Many of us were bully magnets, and bear deep scars from childhood bully encounters, slights, and exclusion by our normal peers. And sometimes those bully tactics were in your own family. This buried rage can surface in an unexpected ways, triggered by unexpected events. The best way to deal with this rage is to get a handle on it, make it a tool instead of a time bomb, redirecting it in martial arts or heavy exercise and activities that physically exhaust the body will help to tame it. Try to remember that the bad days are over. You are now your own person and responsible for your actions. End of part 3.